Welcome to the Big BoneYard. Enter at your own risk.
I decided to pursue a career in law because it gives me an opportunity to help people. When a client chooses us to represent them, they're entrusting us with a huge responsibility. It's our goal to exceed their expectations with our personalized service and to help them to achieve the best possible recovery to compensate them for their injuries.
That's where we come in. We come in and we solve that problem for them and really set them on the right track in order to try and get back to what their life was like before the accident happened.
Man. Oh, what y'all doing here? Hey, let's play a minute. Hey, thank you everybody who took some time out of your life to join us here at the Big BoneYard. And whew, it's been a hell of a Sunday. I had to get that out of my system. All of us had the same thing going on. But anyway, welcome to the Big BoneYard, y'all. That's applause for those folks out there that took a minute to hang out with us, a little something. But anyway, so tonight's show is going to be pretty interesting that we know every brother, every sister out there can relate to, and we're going to get into that. But just to knock it right out, because we are actually going to try to be disciplined about the time tonight. We're going to try to. But yeah, we do this thing every week, and we're having a great time, and folks are really plugged in, getting a lot out of it, and all like that. But we want to reiterate. Everything that we're talking about, our words are our words. We're not representing the views, opinions, or ideologies of any of our respective clubs or organizations. So having said that, let's get started with the Big BoneYard. And if I might take a moment just to introduce the co-hostess with the motherfucking mostest, Mr. Archbishop 1%er, sir.
What up, though? What up, though?
Yo, B, I'm not even going to try to say it right because every time I try to say it, it just don't sound right. You know what I mean?
Don't try, man. Yeah, don't try.
It was a TV show, and it was a damn dude and a girl on it's called Blind Spotting. It's a TV show. I happened to catch that, and the dude said, "Hey, what up, though?" And the girl said, "What up, though?" And they both sound exactly like you. I'm like, this is some bullshit right here. I can't get it. I speak a few different languages.
Look, you guys got to quit these new phrases, man. I'm having trouble keeping up. My thesaurus has run out of pages.
I can't do it. I basically gave up. I can't pull it off, man. I'm waving the white flag on it. Also,
no, it ain't really new. It's actually been out for a couple years. It's not actually new.
But that's a Detroit thing, right?
Yeah, that's just something that we say up there. That's something that we say in the Midwest. No, actually, it's a Midwest thing, but yeah, Detroit says
I'm
a lot.
in the Midwest. I ain't never heard that. What up, Joe?
Well, see, that depends on where you are.
You can,
if you're in certain parts of the D, you're gonna hear that. I just can't get it right. Like I identify myself as not being.
I'll try to stay away from all D's. Just saying.
That's what she said. Oh, wait.
No, she tried to get to the D.
Hey, that's what she said. I knew I had a button. I'm going.
You ain't quick enough.
Anyway, I'm going to have to do it again tonight.
Yeah.
Hey, and needless to say, folks, we are joined by Uncle Shaggy tonight. Uncle Shaggy, how the hell are you, man?
I'm good. Hope you all are doing well.
Right on. So, as some of y'all might have noticed, we're getting started a little later than usual tonight because we was out doing biker shit. riding motorcycles, fucking with our bros, and all like that kind of stuff. And so it was it happens every now and again. But we still love y'all. So of course we're here. But so let me tell you what we're talking about tonight. This is something, like I said, it's something everybody can get on board with. But here's how we wrote it out. It says anybody that grew up with brothers and sisters already knows about the seemingly never-ending fights between siblings. It pretty much started at birth and magically ended, when you grew up, but not always, right? So now you have your biker family, your club brothers and your club sisters, and surprise, 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 here we go again. Except for this time, you ain't fighting about GI Joes and PS4s and Barbie dolls, right?
Well, your club's boring. We fight about GI Joe. Somebody took my fucking Hot Wheels today. I'm pretty upset over that.
You gonna get into
one of the guys had a Barbie, I'm pretty sure.
But I tell you,
I think he was a midget.
Oh wait, hey, we there's a midget stripper running around. All right,
Dude, I'm in. Where do I get my plane tickets?
Midget strippers. That's a thing in Florida. It's
their hands, thing. Man. They make everything look bigger.
See, I didn't think of it that way. But the thing is, so now these
adapt, improvise, overcome. Marine, come on.
Oh yeah, I gotta apply myself. But Nick, the thing is that nowadays, like when we get into these big boy, big girl fights with your brothers and your sisters in these clubs, now the consequences are different. There's some different consequences, and sometimes it's still about bullshit, and unfortunately still happens. So anyway, that's what we're going to figure out tonight on the Big BoneYard. So having said that, like we were talking about, and by the way, y'all want to call in definitely, because a lot of folks have had experiences with this. So we definitely want to hear from you tonight. So don't be shy. Y'all give us a call and, give us your 2 cents worth. Let us know what you're thinking about, as what your experience has been on that. But, like a lot of times when we talk about a thing, we start going, well, why the hell did that happen? That's always like the first thing, like, the who, what, when, where, how, all that shit. But so the first thing is there's a lot of different circumstances as to why brothers and sisters, because we got ladies out there as well. But how did this shit get going? And there's so many different things. But AB, I'll ask you to kind of help us get started. Like this brother against brother, or brothers fighting against brothers, like. What do you think is like one of the frequent causes of that shit?
All right. Well, first, before we get started, let's say this is our opinions and our opinions alone. It's don't have anything to do with our clubs, nothing like that. Yep. This is our opinions. Put that disclaimer out. Facts. Okay. Facts. A lot of to answer the question, a lot of the stuff starts with a lot of hearsay shit. Starts out with hearsay shit. And what I mean by that is that you have, okay, like say you got a bro that's, okay, he on the phone and he talking to this person, and they listening to what it is that he's saying, but are they actually going back validating what it is that he's telling them? No, right. They just go right along with it. You know what I mean? Then later on, right. So it goes from one to the next, and then finally, the other person hears about it and like, hold on, what the hell are you talking about? None of that even took place, but it's something right. that's been spreaded all the way around. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the first thing. A lot of, then let's move on. Then you got the female part. You know what I mean? Where they trying to fuck with your old lady, they hitting her in the DM, trying to shoot text, trying to hit on her whenever your back turned. Stuff like that, that hits you. Yeah. Third, politics. Just the overall politics of the chapter.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with them 3 for right now.
Okay. Those 3 good ones.
All 3 of them is going. It's plenty of talk that we can do about all 3 of those. Let's just stick with them 3 for right now.
When you say shit, I usually write them shits down. So I'm gonna grab my pen in a minute. If I can get it, I'll get a pen in a minute and scribble them down. So remember those 3. Speaking of which, I'm not going to say who, but we have somebody who is a frequent watcher of the show. What do you call it? Somebody who watches the show all the time. I forget how. He is in fact a professional bonehead. And but anyway, this one cat, he caught a little headache for a little bit. And anyway, long story short, he was telling me, you know, he wasn't gone 5 minutes, and everybody and their mother was hitting up his old lady. And I'm like, man, you know, what the hell is all that about? You know, isn't that supposed to be your brother right there? You know, but as it turns out, there's more to. I won't delve all into it, but that one makes sense. It's like, why the hell, if that's your brother, because you know, especially on our side of the fence, that's like a huge no. So we don't hear about that as frequently, but it's not like this shit don't happen. So old ladies, that's a big one. Shaggy, what say you?
I almost start out with saying anything I say is my opinion, what I've lived and witnessed in 23 years of riding that long road of being a clubber and the experiences I've had. It's not the opinion of my motorcycle club, my former motorcycle club, or the motorcycle club as a community as a whole. But these are the facts. First off, it starts with ego. Motherfuckers just can't let shit go. They
Yeah.
gotta keep poking and keep poking and keep poking. Another major thing is these beasts start really slow and take a long time, and before you can catch them, they have built to a boiling point where there's no return, no redemption. There's going to be no forgiveness, you know, no handshake, and it's going to be a hate that's built that tears up the chapter and lasts for a lifetime.
Yeah.
The other thing too is you have a good guy and you have a bad guy in this. And the bad guy is the one that's stirring the goddamn pot and tearing everything up because you don't want to take responsibility for his actions. And then you have guys that are just trying to do what's best for the club, what's best for their chapter, and cutting out the cancer that's in the club. And 9 times out of 10, the good guy ends up being the bad guy because he's tired of it, and somebody's got to take a stand. And it sucks to be a leader, but you know, sometimes you got to take that bull by the horn. And I'd rather sacrifice one for the good of the whole, because that one that we're sacrificing is we're not really sacrificing much. Um, I look at club life like this, man. We want to talk family. We want to talk, you know, brothers fight brothers, sisters fight sisters, shit like that. Well, I grew up in a family of 7 kids, man. We fought every single day, but we picked
Yeah.
each other up. You know, we stuck together, and sometimes that shit happen. Now, on the 1% side, it's not, you know, it's kind of frowned upon a little bit because you don't want the bully shit to happen because there's some big monsters on this side of the house.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the big issue is motherfuckers' egos. I mean, it's just straight up their egos. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. Well, guess what? That's not how it works. You traded
Right.
one government for another government. We're stricter. We're more stringent. We're more, you know, militant in the way our streamlines are. And you know, you agreed and you took an oath that you're going to follow for the rest of your life because this is a life choice that supposed to last a lifetime. And the final thing is grudges. You know, I learned a long time ago, man, I don't hold grudges. You know, once I'm done saying my piece, I'm done. I've had guys come up to me weeks later saying, hey, man, and I done forgot about what the hell we were pissed off about.
Right.
Once that gavel swings, man, church is over. And what happened at that church and before no longer matters. The shit was handled there. You know,
Right.
we started out with fuck your feelings. We're handling business. This is how it is. You
Right.
talk to me 3 weeks later, that means you're still butthurt about something. Well, guess what? Now you fired it back up for a whole new issue, and I'm coming for you, Pat, because we don't need drama queens.
Right.
You know, we need brothers. We need men. If you're going to be a drama queen, that means you might as well tuck your pee-pee. And yes, I'll piss off the transgenders again. You know, go on about yourself, man. This club life needs to clean itself out anyway. We need to, you know, lighten the load of membership anyway and get back to being tight clubs, tight shit where we don't have this crap as often as we do now.
Man, you ever seen one of these guys where, you know, like there was some sort of issue, like you just said, talked about it, thought this shit was over and done. And then, matter of fact, a better one, I'll tell you more accurate. You ever had somebody blow up about a situation and you didn't know nothing about it, but apparently they had been pissed off for 4 months about it, and everybody in the whole wide world heard about it except for the guy that he was talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's some real bitch shit. If you have an issue with a brother, right? Maybe go to that brother and tell him, hey, here's what I'm mad about. Here's what I heard. But I've seen that a lot. I remember 20 years ago, first time I seen this 20 years ago with a certain club. And these two guys got into it. And first of all, it was in front of God and everybody. It was a whole bunch of different clubs there. And I'm watching these guys, I mean, and they're throwing down like they never knew each other, like they didn't wear the same patch. And so me and my brothers are watching this, and you know, some of the diamonds were out there. They're watching that. I wasn't a diamond at the time, but we're watching this thing. They were getting a kick out of it, and some of them, including the Sergeant Arms from this certain diamond club, was like, "Man," he goes, "That's a bad look. That's a bad look." And finally, he went over and broke it up. And these guys are cussing and carrying on and all like this kind of stuff. And the long story short of it, from what I could tell, one guy was mad at the other guy. The guy number 2 didn't know nothing about it. And guy number 1 just blew the hell up. He had been bitching about this for 4 months and never told that guy. Find out it was some bullshit. They both lost their patches after that. But I guess I say all that to say, you know, and I'm jumping way to the end on it, but about a lot of that shit, a lot of this kind of, you know, brother against brother, sister against sister, there's got to be a conversation, but the ego has got to get checked as well, because you can't fix shit if you're just working, like you said, from the standpoint of if your ego is the thing that's driving the whole issue. Hey, matter of fact, Bishop, let me ask you this. You ever seen a motherfucker who was wrong as all hell, but a couple of folks, when he goes to tell his story to somebody other than the guy, he's telling his story so that a bunch of people will co-sign it, and then he just gets all mad even more, right? And then, you know, that's some backward shit, really.
You know, it kind of boils down to this. You have the truth, and then you have your truth. Now, your truth is going to be partial truth, but not completely. It's going to be to where, you know, it's the real narcissistic bullshit, because you're not going to take fault in the story that you're about to tell. It's going to always be somebody else's fault as to the reason why. You know what I mean? It's never the one that starts the shit that you hear about. It's the one who retaliates at the end because they done got enough. That's the one that you see that's actually doing it. You know what I mean? So then it looks like, okay, this person here is being the aggressor. Well, he's being the aggressor because this one over here, they started this shit. And then now we done finally came to the point that now I got to say something. You know what I mean? Or now I got to do something because, like, you taking me for being a punk because I'm not saying nothing. You know what I mean? So now I got to, you know what I mean? I got to growl at you a little bit. Right. You know what I mean? To let you know that, you know what I mean? Like you may want to think about what it is that you're talking about right now. You know, and it happens a lot. It happens a lot. Now, here's the thing. I used to be one of the ones that I get pissed off and I go off and I'm fighting. I'm throwing people through fucking windows and shit. True stories. All this can be verified. But that's what I did. Why? Because I didn't deal with I ain't deal with nobody's shit, and I ain't even gonna give you the opportunity to even do some shit. You do it one time, I'm coming for you. But an old man told me one day, he said, you know, and he seen me out there fighting, and I was out there this one particular day, I was out there fighting a couple truck drivers, and there was 2 of them out there on the road, and I'm fighting all I could fight. And when I got done, he pulled me to the side and he was like, you know, you wasted a whole lot of energy being mad. He was like, you need to trust everybody. I said, I don't trust nobody for shit. I used to have a saying back in the day, I don't trust nobody but my mama, and I'll cut the deck on her ass too. That was something I had heard years ago. Mom, I know you're listening. I don't mean it that way. But,
he about to whoop your ass like you should have been done a long time ago. You in trouble.
I'm gonna hold him down, but so you know, whoop his ass.
I'm saying it was a saying. It was a saying. But what the guy told me was, he said, trust everybody for who they are, but trust that you know them well. So you know a snake to be a snake, you know a liar to be a liar, you know a thief to be a thief. If you know that this is what they are, then how could you be mad when they do something that's character to what it is that you know them to be? Trust that you know them well. So at that point, then I started reevaluating stuff. You know what I mean? Now, do I still get pissed off? Yeah. You know what I mean? But I sit back and think now accordingly, like, okay, this is what I know them to be. Not gonna really spend this energy on it. You know what I mean? And thanks to the VA who give me them nice happy pills, kind of calms me down. You know what I mean, to keep me from going from zero to death row in like 2.5, because that's what it used to be. You know what I mean? But whoever it was that made Zoloft, thank you, appreciate that.
Yo, look, my so and well, all three of us in the military, so we have those issues that happen sometimes. So in my case, they had me talking to the shrink to make sure that I was shrunk properly enough to won't get all into it, but you had to make sure I was sufficiently crazy or not, whatever. But in the process, this is years ago, I had an issue with this one guy. I was all upset because he was doing some stuff. I was like, man, this is so messed up. I found out I can't trust this dude. And the shrink said very much what you just said. He said, he says, you can't trust him. Why not? He said, well, would you trust him with what did he said? Would you trust him if you got in a firefight? I said, yeah, probably trust him in a firefight. He says, if you was in a dark alley and you and him, would you trust him to do his thing? I said, oh yeah, I trust him there. He said, would you trust him with you had to go out of town and have him come and watch your daughters and your wife or something like that? I said, oh hell no, absolutely fucking not. He says, would you trust him if it was a him versus you situation and he had to lie to get out of it? Would you trust him to tell the truth? I said, absolutely not, because he done lied on me before. I said, well, why can't you trust him like you? I said, well, because he's doing all this stuff. He says, okay, so is that the kind of guy he is? I said, yeah, that's the kind of guy he is. He said, well, trust him to be who he is. I was like, it was like, it's like a little light bulb. Don't we have a light bulb button here? Hold on. No, wrong button. Anyway, that's crickets. Yeah, wrong button. Anyway, but yeah, I was like, damn, that was some deep shit, because he was like, hey, trust him to be who he is. He goes, and as long as you know how he is, then you know how to move. I was like, wow, that's a shame, because this was again, this is about 20 years ago. So I'm like, man, but I've always in my head ever since. But I guess my next question is kind of like this though, is that, so when this is going on in a club environment, whose responsibility is it to fix that shit? I mean, and by that, I mean, is it the responsibility of the other brothers? Is it the responsibility of, like your top three? Is it the responsibility of the individual that started? Like who do you say, man, you got to fix this?
I mean, it shouldn't be
who's responsible. Oh, we both know the answer to this one.
Go ahead, Shaggy. You can go first.
Well, I'll tell you the responsibility. Okay, we'll start off this way. 9 times out of 10, the brother that's got a problem with another brother, the brother he's got a problem with usually has no idea that he's got a problem. Usually don't know that he stepped over a line or did something, because we at times are unruly. Things happen, and we don't mean no harm by it, but shit happens. Right. But that brother who's got the issue is usually the guy that yaps around behind his back, and he does the most unthinkable thing. If you can't trust your brothers unconditionally, you can't love your brothers unconditionally. This is my favorite saying. I trust my brothers and love my brothers, every one of them, unconditionally. I trust them that I can leave them at my house with $1 million on a table, a refrigerator full of food and beer, and my wife butt naked playing Facebook games. And he'd call me up and say, can I have a sandwich? And by the way, tell your old lady to fucking put some clothes on. And she'd be unharmed, and every penny would be on that table. That's the way I believe in this lifestyle. I believe it should be lived. That's the way I live it. Until otherwise prove different. But these brothers, these new age brothers, because you'll ever hear the old guys talk about this shit. It's the new shit they're seeing now. These new guys want to yap behind people's backs. And instead of just being a man and say, hey, bro, I got to talk to you. First and foremost, the brother's got the issue, it's on his shoulder. If he goes around yapping his mouth behind the brother's back and don't have the guts to go up and talk to that brother, and the brothers that he's yapping to ought to pack rat his ass, beat the shit out of him, pull his colors, and throw him out of the club. Why? Because he's broken his oath. He's broken his word to be his brother's keeper. He's not giving that brother the chance to either admit wrong or apologize. And that's the most ignorant thing that goes on in these clubs these days. And no club is safe from it, because it's happening in all these clubs. I hear it all the time. The other thing too is the brother that's being approached that this brother has the issue with, he needs to have an open mind, open ears, shut his mouth and listen to what his brother's got to say. That's his responsibility. And regardless of right, wrong, or indifferent, he needs to be able to compromise with his brother, speak to his brother with respect, especially if his brother does come to him. Instead of being aggressive and egotistic and trying to fight back to win the argument, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'll take happiness over being right any fucking day of the week if it makes things better in my club. It makes things better for my brother, because that's what being a brother's about.
Yeah, I say that. I say that 2-3 times a week. Hey, I'd rather be happy than be right. I don't got to be right, you know. But I think that's the thing. So, Archbishop, whose responsibility would you say it is to squash that shit?
Well, like Shaggy was saying, I mean, it should be the responsibility of the bros to be able to sit down and conversate as men and hash out whatever's going on. I mean, if you think about it, there's only two ways you're gonna deal with it. Either we're gonna talk about it like men, or we're gonna go out here to double yellow and handle this business.
Amen.
It's only two ways you're gonna do it.
Right.
So, you know, now I don't mind doing either one. I'd rather talk to you. But if that, you know what I mean, but if the talking don't work, then we gotta do other shit, then that's just it is. It is what it is at that point. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna come to you as a bro because I'm gonna give you that respect as a bro. And I expect that in return. You know what I mean? Meaning if I'm talking to you the way I'm talking to you, then you're gonna respond to me the same way. Once you get out of tone, I'm gonna ask you one time, pump your brakes. Once you continue, now conversation over with. We got another problem because now you're being disrespectful. You know what I mean? Now once it goes, you know, but like Shaggy was saying, a lot of times the other person don't even know anything about this. So at that point, you know, as it's circulating around, once your VP hears about it, which, you know, the VP deals with the day-to-day operations of the chapter, he should be the one that tells his other bro, like, listen, you know what I mean? You two need to get together and have this conversation. You know what I mean? Because I've heard about it and I done heard it from 3 or 4 other people. And I know this man don't know nothing about it because he ain't even called me and said nothing. So being the fact that these people are talking, you know what I mean? Don't you think eventually it's going to get to him? And if it gets to him, it's going to get back to him a different way than the way you trying to say it. So don't you think you need to face him straight up and just face your problem? You know what I mean? Be man about that shit. You know what I mean? That's the shit that pisses me off the most, though, is because you got these ones that sit here and do all this talking, but then when the time comes, they never approach you. Like I hear about the shit from everybody else but you. You know what I mean? I could respect you more if you came to me and said, listen, man, you know what I mean? I don't like the way you do A, B, and C. Okay, we're going to talk about it. You know what I mean? Either I'm going to agree with what you're saying or we going to agree to disagree.
Right.
But give me that right. Like have that conversation with me though. Don't have that conversation with everybody else. And then I'll find out later on. Because then at that point, I don't want to talk about it at that point. Because you felt that it was cool to talk to everybody else in this circle except for the one you're supposed to have been talking to. Now you want to talk to me.
Right. It's that's that what you call that grown man shit. I tell you what, Austin just said, I'd much rather someone come to me directly if they have a problem or a concern with something I've done. I can respect that more than talking behind my back. That's just in life in general, he says. And I got in trouble from It's Just Us MC says, I feel since the VP runs the club, if it reaches that level that he's aware of frivolous BS, he should check them and have them work it out. Now, I've actually seen that happen before too. But and so I guess when I asked the question,
I'll go a step further.
Yeah.
With the VP comment here, you know, if it's reached that far, if I was that VP, and I have been that VP, I've been that president, I've been that enforcer, that sergeant armed. Hell, I've even been the fucking road captain and secretary and shit like this has happened. And it come to me, and I've stopped it right there. And that brother, like I'm a guy that I ain't gonna say nothing about a brother I won't say to his face, and I've proven it over and over again. But the fact of the matter is, that brother that's come to me and he's trashing another brother in the chapter, another brother in the club, The first question I ask him is, have you talked to that brother? Because if he's coming to me and I'm an officer, I'm going to listen to what he has to say, because he may have tried to approach the dude and the dude's letting his ego get in the way and he's not coming with an open mind and closed ears.
Right.
He's just getting defensive right off the back, which usually means he's guilty of whatever the fuck he's being charged. But if he's coming to me and he's running his mouth, and I'm asking him, if you talk to that brother and he tells me no, I'm going to slap him in the mouth. End the conversation. Guess what, dude? You're coming to an officer without trying to do the righteous thing and be your brother's keeper and go speak to your brother.
Yeah.
Look, some guys that are listening to this, these aren't cliches we're talking here. Being your brother's keeper means something. And sometimes putting your boot all up his ass is part of that.
Oh, yeah.
But being respectful to him and giving him the chance to force you to have to bring it to the chapter or force you to have to bring it to the club is totally different than being a man and saying, hey, bro, we need to talk. We need to talk.
Now, Chris is saying, this Chris Fay, he said, it also creates division in a chapter. If another brother was involved with that gossip, they're just as guilty as the one who started it, which is pretty true. Because
if they pass it on, they should be charged as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and I think that's the thing that that folks don't about the MC world. The way it works is if you're a part of that, problem, or if you're passing some bullshit, some gossip that's not true, some lies, you know, in certain clubs, hey, you can get your shit checked too. You know, you can come up out of them rags the same way the motherfucker who started that shit did, just from, you know, lying on a brother. Like in the civilian society, you know, like outside the MC, you know, people lie on each other all the time with no consequences. In our world, there's consequences to lying on somebody. And you know, it's a thing that the whole rest of the world should embrace. Clubs that are letting shit go through, you know, fall through the cracks, you know, quit that. You know, Archbishop has heard me say this as I talk to, you know, we do these speaking engagements and shit, and I'm constantly telling clubs, hey, you know, don't be the man behind the curtain there, you know, whispering lies and bullshit. You know, if you got something to say it. Let someone have the opportunity to face their accuser. I say that all the time. You should be able to face your accuser. So if in a club environment, if somebody's making charges or any of this kind of stuff, shit, be a man. Stand on that shit. You know, get up in church or wherever it is that you do it. Stand up in front of the other brothers and be like, hey, that motherfucker right there, such and fill in the blanks, right? If you're right, you know, stand on that shit. If you're wrong, be prepared for the consequences, because there should be some.
Right.
There's definitely consequences.
That's absolutely right.
You know, now I know I just saw Phoenix just jumped in there. Hey, Phoenix. And you know, she's a woman, so women never have these sort of problems. You know, because women don't have these sort of problems because the ladies in their clubs, they get along very well and they never fight and they always agree with each other. I think that's honest.
Damn, boy, this goes sideways.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though. So I guess the other thing is, so let's say some of these guys, you know, they get into it. Let me ask you this: how do you condition folks to stop with the bullshit before it starts? Like, how do you condition these motherfuckers to act like grown ass men?
There should be taught as prospects. You don't talk behind a brother's back. If you're going to say something about a brother, you'd better talk to him first. If he ain't taught that at prospecting, he should have never patched out, period. Yeah. That's where you start with it. Because I'll tell you right now, 23 years ago, I never heard, 10 years ago, I never heard of motherfuckers running their mouth behind another brother's back. Now, all of a sudden, it's commonplace. You know, it's okay to do that.
Right.
And you find your weak links real fast because they're the ones passing the rumor and passing the rumor and passing the rumor. And I'm telling you right now, you got to be the one that stops the rumor. I don't believe in rumors. I stop the rumor because I go right to the horse's mouth. And I'll flat out ask him,
yeah,
hey, this is what I was just told. Is this correct? And if he tells me no, I'll go right back to the other one and snatch him up, smack him on my way over to the one he's talking about.
Gotcha.
Because this is about being adult. This is about being grown folk. This is about, in our society, it's about being men. Men don't play those kind of games. We've got too much other shit to worry about and take care of. When you go around talking behind your brother's back, are you a brother? You're a fucking coward. You're not a biker. You don't live up to the 1% moniker, and you don't live up to the MC moniker. Period.
Right on. Hey, we got a caller, and thank you for calling the Big BoneYard. You got Big Bone 1%er, Archbishop 1%er, and Uncle Shaggy, motherfucking 1%er. Who's calling? How can we help you today? What you got to say?
What's going on? What up, though, Archbishop? What up, Shaggy 1%er?
What up, though?
Man, Bone, you're speaking with Trouble from It's Just Us, MC, baby.
Trouble, what's up, man? Trouble, all right, that's what's up, man.
You already know it. Yeah, man, I ain't heard from you in a minute, but I did want to add my little 2 cents into the little spiel real quick, and it's an honor and pleasure speaking with you.
Right on.
But real talk, all that was me with that frivolous comment, Big Brother Shaggy 1%er. But I'm now a 2-time VP in a club. So my whole thing is when you have a whole bunch of, hearsay and all this jaw jacking BS behind your brothers or so-called brothers' back, you're not getting enough ride time, man. You're not getting enough damn seat time. So get out the chat, get off the fucking phone and pound the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I mean, I ran into this inside of my club when I was a road captain. And now I'm a VP, and I'm like, hey, listen, we're going to implement something. Since you guys want to keep jaw jacking, the next time that somebody does that and it reaches the level that it doesn't need to reach, which is a VP, guess what? Now you have a fine, plus you got to do some miles right now. Let me get 500. Let me get the $500 fine. Let me get the 500 miles real quick. Y'all figure that shit out at the end of the gas tank, and then come back with a good mind. That's how I see it.
Oh, hold on, I gotta do like that for you, because I kind of dig that. I dig that all over the place, because I know you heard us say a few times on this show that a lot of bullshit gets fixed on the road. Because you're sitting around the clubhouse too much. Just week in, week out. I've seen these cats in some clubs. I won't say who they are, but it's a certain club in a certain club I'm familiar with, and I remember the first time that they left their county and they came to our clubhouse, and I was shocked because I had never seen them outside of, within like a 4 or 5 mile radius of where their clubhouse is. I was shocked. And look, let me tell you, and these cats, man, they talk big shit for months. Yeah, we went to Tampa. We rode to Tampa. They was hyped about it. And then at the same time, though, that same club, it's like every other month you got somebody new joining and somebody else quitting, and they're always with always having all these problems. Bottom line, they don't ride their motorcycles. I remember that same club, they went to Daytona, and they were very proud about the fact that they had two brand new trailers to take their motorcycles to Daytona. We live in Florida. We live in Florida. I had to do it like that. Oh, so for those of y'all that don't know, when you live in Florida, I don't give a damn if you live in Miami or freaking, you could be in the Keys. If you trailer your bike to Daytona, you became a laughingstock to, I don't give a damn club or not. People gonna look at you like you got 3 heads, or like they're looking for the handicap sticker, because if you ain't 75 with a bad back and a missing leg or something, you don't trailer your bike to Daytona. But these guys do. They got trailers. Correct. Nice ones. But yeah, they don't ride. Is what I'm putting. Yeah. So that 500 and 500, that's some good shit. I hope everybody heard that. I really hope everybody heard that, because that's some shit to implement if you ain't doing it. That's beautiful.
Right. And I got just one more little piece, and then I'm getting back to the show, because I love watching and listening and learning. I'm a sucker for that shit. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
But the next thing is you got people that get in clubs for the wrong reasons. You got people that are chasing a patch and chasing a position rather than, actually getting into it for what you're supposed to get into it for. You know what I'm saying? So when they achieve their little one-time goal, then they become egotistical, just like Shaggy said, just like Archbishop said, you let your ego take over, and then when they strike from you, now all of a sudden, all your brothers ain't shit just because you didn't do what the fuck you were supposed to do. You know what I mean? So,
well, Trouble, let me ask you this. So let's say you got a brother who's that way. He's that troublemaking so-and-so, right? And
yeah.
it happens all the time with him. What, if anything, do you do? Do you drum his ass out? Do you snatch them rags, or do you rehabilitate him?
I can answer that one.
I can only speak on. I know you can't say. I'm gonna let you get it right up the answer. but me personally, I'm a sucker for education and knowledge. So what I'll do is I'll have a conversation first. That's your first and last warning. After that is suspensions and everything else until you learn how to goddamn operate. I don't have time to babysit a grown man. I don't think nobody does.
Right. Right on.
But
right on.
That's my steps.
All right.
Talk and then straight give me some bread. That's it. Make the club rich.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because Archbishop clearly he likes to throw people out of windows. Like, so I think.
Oh shit! Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, it's like, I think your option.
Well, I didn't throw him out it. I didn't throw him out it. I threw him through it.
Through it.
It wasn't out it.
That's different.
Went through it.
He accidentally mixed the Jackie Chan video up with his Bruce Lee video. Bruce Lee's the one that throws him out the fucking window. Right the fuck on, Bishop. Keep throwing him out the window. This time do it from a higher distance. It takes him longer to fall, and I like to hear him scream.
Yeah, Kroger's was mad at me. I'm telling you, Kroger's was mad at me because I pitched his ass straight through it.
Hey, that's why I'm glad I'm up under my umbrella of Outcast Nation, and I don't partake in pissing nobody the fuck off. So
Right on.
I'm good.
Right on. Hey,
but you know what though? See, here's the thing though. See, during this time, I wasn't even in the MC scene during that time. I was just young, just running around, just reckless as fuck. You know what I mean? I wasn't,
you were one of them.
See, that's the difference. See, that's the difference. See, you know, like some people join an outlaw club and then they try to be an outlaw. Yeah, when you was doing outlaw shit before you became an outlaw club. See, now it kind of fits. You see what I'm saying? It kind of carries on with the other stuff that you was doing. Like, yeah, I was reckless as hell then, and I was doing outlaw shit before I even knew what an outlaw club even was. I had no idea what outlaw club was. Didn't even give a damn what outlaw club was. I was Bishop, and you know what I mean. And I've been running around doing this for umpteen years. You know what I mean? So it's like this here was like a precursor to like, okay, this is. Now I know that there's other people other than me that's doing this. You know what I mean? When before it was just like I had me and I had my group, and when I rolled, they rolled, and we handled business, and that's what we did. Right. You know, and it didn't matter. I mean, we would go to a family reunion and whoop your ass. That's what we did. You know what I mean? That's a story too. Yeah, that's a story too. I'm telling you, everything can be verified. I'm telling you, walk to a family reunion and whoop. You know, so see, here's the thing. See, so he went to the bar and whooped his ass at the bar. Then he went to the family reunion. But I felt that I didn't get enough at the bar, so I went to the family reunion and whooped that ass there. You know what I mean? So
I told my brother to shut his mouth. He just wouldn't listen.
Right. You know what I mean? So you gotta be able to go through some of that. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, stuff like that is what makes you who you are when you get older. You know what I mean? So you gotta go through them experiences. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, I can write a bestseller, man. They can make a mini series off some of this shit.
Just went through my head.
my attorney told me to not admit a whole bunch of shit, but I did it anyway.
Yeah. I ain't admitting nothing, but I'm saying though, in 2024, in 2024, I'm gonna start it out like the fucking Harry Potter series. I'm gonna have one, and then I'm gonna bring up another one, and bring up another one. I'm telling you, they're gonna make a movie off this shit.
Slytherin bitches.
Man, I appreciate y'all's time, man. I'm gonna get off this.
Yo, man,
we gonna turn this into something else.
Trouble. Look, it's always good to hear from you, man. It's always good to hear from you. And look, you gotta slide by the house, man. I'll let us one night, man.
Yeah, I'll be down there this year, man. I'll let you know when I'm on the way.
All right, now. Later on. Hey, that was Trouble, everybody. But,
Later on, Trouble.
Have a good one, buddy. You know, one of the things he said though is one of the things that a lot of leaders are afraid to do, and especially as young leaders that ain't been in club life long and got put in those positions and they think they could do it because everybody can do it better than their predecessor. You know what I mean? Um, they afraid to make them wallets float, man. I'm here to tell you right now, we all as a group vote for our bylaws. We all agree on the rules. And disrespecting a brother and talking shit behind his back and causing ruckus inside the chapter, I may not be written exactly down like that, but there's rules about that. And you take your oath and you swear allegiance to the club and all that good shit like that. And I'm gonna tell you what, man. First thing I like to do is I like to see if I can get your wallet to float right out of your back pocket without anybody touching it. Because you walk in with a whole bunch of bread, I'll make sure you walk out with nothing but spider webs. I don't give a shit. You vote on those rules, don't whine to me when I enforce them. The other thing is, if the fine thing ain't working, I learned as a young man. Actually, I learned as a kid growing up, and learned it even harder as a young man because, a belt is one thing. But when you getting your ass whipped with a bunch of fists and feet and everything else that comes out, man, violence isn't always the answer, but by God, it sure teaches one hell of a lesson. Either you won't pull that shit again, or you're just one sadistic bastard likes being beat up all the time, and then by then, there's no sense in having you around anyway. But, sometimes you just, as I used to get told, sometimes you just got to smack a motherfucker in the mouth to get his attention. Once you got his attention, man, he wants to learn everything he can learn. And he cuts that shit out. Or he continues to do what he does because he's so hard-headed and egotistical that he's the weak link in your club anyway. And what's the sense of keeping around somebody who's every church is hours and hours long because of the constant bullshit around the same individual?
Yeah. No, facts, man. I think what happens is, so really what you're saying is there's different forms of education. Sometimes it's a conversation. Sometimes it's a visit to your damn OBGYN to get your pussy checked out because you won't quit acting like one, I mean, no offense to nobody, but
you remember back in the day, when you was a kid and you could hear either your mother or your daddy, they talking to one of their people and you jumped in and said something.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? And what happened?
Very clearly.
You caught that.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? So you caught that backhand, told you shut the
this
hell up.
My dad in 1982, it's here somewhere. I said, Dad.
That came from Uncle Daddy Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Daddy Shaggy said.
Back then, like men lived by a code. And it was a code that, it grew, throughout the years, but it was stuff that you just did not do. Absolutely. Like you didn't go around snitching. You didn't fuck around with nobody's old lady. You know what I mean? You didn't run around. I don't give a damn what you seen. You didn't see. You know what I mean? And we can lie to everybody else that we want to lie to, but we didn't lie to each other.
Yep.
That was the code that that was the code that they lived by. That was the code. You know what I mean? When I grew up, I grew up with older people. Right. That's who I grew up. Me too. So I kind of got an old soul because I live by those old ways. You know what I mean? Yep. And when you got to the point that where you done exhausted your effort, then you go handle your business. But you made sure that you went through these rules first. Like, okay, did he violate any of these? Yes. Okay. So that's your grounds to go handle your business. But nowadays though, it's like, no, we ain't talking about youngsters. We ain't talking about nobody 20 years old. We talking about the ones that's our age, that's still running around here doing this bitch shit. And you sit there and wonder like, okay, I know that code wasn't just in Virginia and West Virginia where I grew up at. I know that wasn't just the code there. You know what I mean? Because I went to Ohio and and the code was still there. So I know it ain't just in separate spots or is this state just special for bitch ass motherfuckers or something? I don't know. But, I just never seemed to grasp the concept of, just grown ass men just sitting on just sitting here talking about another grown ass man, but you won't walk up to that person and say what it is that you feel that you need to say. You know what I mean? Like I said before, only one or two things are gonna happen anyway. You know what I mean? If you're scared, buy a dog. You know what I mean? You never should have put a name in your mouth if you know what I mean? So
Get you a turtle.
I just never right. I just never quite got that. You know what I mean? And I think that's what irritates me the most about, you know what I mean, about stuff like that happens is because, a lot of the situations that went on could easily have been resolved with a phone call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you going to the bro and just be like, hey man, let me, you know what I mean? I know you got something going on, blah, 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 blah. Let me holler at you about this and work it out. Work it out, go get a beer, drink, you know what I mean? And then everything good, everything squashed. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you sitting here and you got people, you got bros defending themselves on stuff that they ain't even do.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, how do you defend yourself on something that ain't true? You know what I mean?
Tell you,
And it's
brother, let me tell you how to do that. Oh, shit. Let me tell you how to do that, because this has happened. And I solved this problem just like this. And I've said this in national meetings. I've said this in church meetings. I will fight to the death if I know for a fact I'm innocent. But I will also stand up and say when I'm wrong. And I will say that I'm guilty of something. I have found and learned, not the hard way, just by the way I was raised, if you admit your mistake, and you admit you done wrong, the punishment's way less than sit there and lie and be a coward about it.
Yeah,
So
that's grown man shit. Grown man shit.
And I'll tell you right now, the only way that you could stop that is you've got to say when you're wrong, you got to say when you're right, and the only way you can defend yourself, and the only way you're gonna get your brothers to convince your brothers that you're innocent. As an innocent man, well, I mean, fuck, today's day and age, I could be wrong about this because some guys are guilty as fucking. They'll do this exact thing, which is stand their ground and say, no, I'll sit here and take this ass whooping because I know I'm innocent. I don't care what it takes. If I walk out of here, both eyes swelled shut, and somebody got to give me a taxi cab home, fine. I'll come back next week and get my ass whooped again because I'm innocent. I'll take the ass whooping the rest of my life. I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity for fucking nobody. That's all I have.
Right.
Now, if I'm guilty and I'm found to be a liar, and I know I'm lying, and they found me as a liar, I deserve whatever the fuck comes to me. But I'd rather tell the truth, get it out of the way, and keep my integrity and take my lumps for my brothers. But if I'm innocent, that's like sticking a fucking snitch jacket on somebody or a pedophile jacket on somebody. You don't do that shit without having the proper proof. And these motherfuckers think this day and age, I just call them a liar. Now it's up to the club to filibuster it and figure it out. That's bullshit. That's dividing the club.
I think what you just did is I was saying a minute ago, you was talking about some grown man shit, but what you also detailed, I think the big part about what you just detailed is the pathway to establishing respect. And a lot of folks, they get it a little twisted. They think, well, if I stick to this bullshit and then I'm just going to be right, or at least I'm going to convince people that this lie or this bullshit or this shit that I fucked up on, I got to stand on it. And, no, that respect, you don't have to be right to get respect. Sometimes being respectful is doing the grown ass man thing or the grown woman thing for those ladies watching and be like, hey, you know what? I fucked up. I could have did that better, or I should have, or I didn't know, or whatever the fuck it was. Be a grown up about it. Integrity, because I know one of the first things I learned coming into this, as far as on the diamond side of things, and I think Archbishop, you touched on it, or one of y'all touched on it a little bit, but I had a few things. It's like these my mentors, if you will, from a long time ago, and I heard it from 3 completely different persons. And they say, hey, look, one of them said, hey man, and y'all heard me say this before, hey, I'll lie to you about all the pussy I'm getting. You lie to me about all the pussy you getting. But we don't never need to lie to each other about nothing important, especially when we got on these rags. He goes, I'll lie about how many miles I rode this weekend. You lie about how fast your motorcycle is. But we ain't ever going to lie about nothing important. Not while we're wearing these rags. and and it was broken again, 3 different people, and they said it's very, very important. You have to have trust in your brother. He's gotta come correct, and you do too. Whether you're right or wrong, you gotta let him know what fucking time it is. And crazy enough, my lawyer, Jerry Theophilopoulos, he's our criminal attorney. And of course, Fran has, and God damn it, now I'm doing plugs. But anyway, Jerry T, the criminal attorney, was telling me, many years ago, I had a thing going on. He's like, hey, tell me everything. I don't give a damn what it is. Let me know what it is. That way I can defend you. And it's not just about having your brothers, being honest with them because they can defend you. It's about being honest with them because that's your brother. He deserves that. It's an integrity situation.
Absolutely.
Integrity is the thing that makes people respect you. And there's some other things that go along with it too. But if you don't have integrity, you don't got nothing. Let me throw this out here real quick. Frost said some good shit. Frost said, don't mind grown folks. This is when Archbishop was talking about when you was talking about what you was talking about, which I won't repeat because I don't want your mother to come and smack me. But so that's when he said it. He said, don't mind grown folks' business. If you're gonna do anything or say anything, be ready to be grown enough for the aftermath. Brett, which don't nobody like you, Brett. Just funny. Anyway, Brett said, I learned the hard way. Not everyone is your sister. But my loyalty remained afterwards. I will go to the grave with so many secrets, but those fake ass people will be put in the grave allegedly. And also, if we hadn't said it tonight, hey, y'all make sure you hit the like button. Y'all definitely share this with some folks. And if you haven't subscribed already, definitely make sure that you do so we can give this kind of good word to you. And Gio said, if you scared, go to church. Everyone want to be a gangster until it's time to do some gangster shit. And Frost said,
Very true.
Yeah, that's facts right there. Frost said, people forget how powerful their voices can be in most situations. And I think if you use your voice in the right way, so we hear from a lot of folks. Anyway, but I tell y'all what, let me get that out of the way. But no, man, I think if we was to kind of in a nutshell kind of a thing, it's a great conversation, and I'm hoping that everybody watching continue to think about some of the stuff that you heard tonight, implement this shit, because everybody at one time or another will face or have to deal with some of this bullshit, right? If you do, don't be shy. Remember that there's a way to fix this shit. There's a way to address it. More importantly, if you are the person who's doing all the gossiping and the this, that, and the other thing, and you talking to, 50 million people, and you got to call this one and call that one and call the other one to bitch, moan, and complain about this brother, that brother, or your whole fucking club, shit, you can fix that by just not doing that shit. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to look in the mirror, But that's my little piece.
To add to that, to the leaders, to the president, the vice president, sergeant arms and portions, listen very carefully. When your brothers come to you with situations like these, don't take sides because they came to you first. A lot of inexperienced leaders, and I hear this all the time, whoever gets to him first, he's going to win because they're going to join his side. That guy's just going around trying to build his army. Now he's going to get the sergeant arms or enforcer in his side pocket, and he's going to get a vice president or president. You guys are elected to serve your clubs. You guys are elected to be open-minded. You guys are elected to be biased. You guys are elected to not have an opinion until you get all the facts. Bishop was saying this earlier. You have that side, but the truth always lies in the middle. Always. You're never going to get all the facts. But to keep your chapter copacetic, to keep your chapter peaceful, to keep your chapter tight, to keep your chapter full of brotherhood and sisterhood, if you're the leader, it is your job and responsibility to not side with anybody and to get the facts before you render who's at fault. And you should always encourage those individuals to handle the business at the lowest level possible, which is between themselves. If they need a moderator, that's one thing. If they need the whole chapter, you're going to find out who you need to get rid of real fast and then get fucking rid of them.
Yeah, it happens because, I say all the time here that the MC is not for everybody. just because for some reason somebody found their way in, they could have been in 2 minutes or 22 years. Just because you found your way in doesn't mean that it's right for you. Maybe it was right for you when you got in, maybe you didn't no more. But this lifestyle, it's not easy. It's not easy to get in. A real MC, it's hard to get in because it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. This is not for everybody. This is for grown-ass men, and in the case of ladies, the grown-ass women. Whether you're a PO or a member of a female club, whether it's an MC, RC, Diamond Club, whichever. This shit is not supposed to be easy because we're supposed to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Absolutely.
Typically, you know what I'm saying? Like typically when you're talking to, your local MC, especially your local Diamond Club, those motherfuckers to some degree about certain things are beyond reproach. That's a motherfucker who has integrity and honor. If they say, I got your back, boy, you can take that shit to the bank. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. So if you're in a club and you're not living like that and you ain't moving like that, and you got folks in your club that's not living like that and moving like that, might have to have a conversation. Before, I'm saying have the conversation before the bullshit starts. Just my 2 cents on that one.
One thing I like to correct you on. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be. No, my brother, this is how it is. The motherfuckers that ain't doing it, they either weren't sponsored correctly and taught correctly, or they're so damn thick-headed and had their ears closed and their mouth running the whole time that they didn't learn nothing. There's only one way to handle that one is knock the fucker back down to Prospect and see if he can make it through it again and listen to it this time. Because I tell you what, I live by this code. I live this way. There ain't no it's supposed to be this way. It is this way. Look at the 125 years the motorcycle club has been around. And, there's guys in clubs, especially my club, 30, 40, 50 years in the club. They're still there. They've been there the whole time. Your club ain't no different. Same thing. Some of these big clubs out there, no different. Same thing. They did something right. They didn't talk shit behind each other's back. They acted like men and adults towards each other. They kept it to the lowest level possible. And if it had to go to the table, sometimes that just happens. But the fact of the matter is, it ain't supposed to be shit. It is. It's very black and white, period. There's no gray area in this conversation. Either you're a man or an adult or a woman, or this is just about, this ain't for everybody. This ain't for hardly anybody.
Yep. Facts. I get it. I was going to tell you, one of the things that I think, which we always hit on the subject, you did it earlier. It really starts, a lot of this starts on day one. Both of y'all touched on the same subject at different times. Archbishop, you were saying how you were already a certain way before you put on them rags, you was already a certain way. And Shaggy, you were saying, hey, it starts with that probate, that prospect, right? So here's my little 2 cents on it. If you are a certain way, don't look at the Diamond Club thinking they're going to turn me into damn 1%er. Nope. That's not what happens. 1%ers, a lot of a number of clubs don't actually recruit at all. You do you, be who you are. Somebody's going to see it and they're going to be like, damn, this motherfucker moves like we do. And they're going to show you where home is. And if you can if you make the grade, then you get to put on that patch. But they ain't turned you into nothing that you wasn't already. It's a similar mindset, a similar the way you get down and so on and so forth, right? But as you're coming in, some of that shit needs to be fine-tuned. Some of it needs, like in the Marine Corps, they tear you down and build you up, right? So you're going to be all of these things that we're talking about tonight, all that little bitch shit, all of that little, all of that little stuff that creates problems with your brothers or your clubs or any of that. A lot of that shit can get nipped in the bud if you get your prospect period was done properly. And if it wasn't, no problem. There's still a fix for that, But that's what I'm thinking about that one. But AB, if you was to give us in a nutshell kind of a thing about everything we was talking about tonight.
In a nutshell, I would say, you know, number one, I would say judge your brothers according to how your brothers treat you and not what somebody else tells you or, the rumor or the gossip of the fucking week or whatever. You judge that man based on what he's said, done to you. Has he lied to you? Has he ever came across to you to be the way somebody else told him? If not, then there's a reason for that. Like I said earlier, a lot of times in a situation like that, you always get the person that retaliates is what you see, not the other stuff that took place prior to. I would say to the ones that's spreading it, that's keeping the shit going all the time. You know what I mean? Number one, chill the fuck out. Two, if you got an issue with a bro, man up. Face that bro straight up. And if you wrong, say you wrong, man. You know what I mean? It ain't like it's gonna kill you to say that you wrong. And once you admit that you're wrong, then fix the situation that you was wrong with. As opposed to, you can't say, okay, I'm sorry, bro, I apologize. And then you leave it at that when you done told everybody else. So
Right.
it's like, okay, me and you cool, but you done told everybody. So you need to fix this with everybody.
Right.
Which could have been easily resolved if you would have came to me in the first place. You know what I mean? And I think that's what the biggest thing is these days is that you just have to just man up. Man up, man. This is a grown man club. You're doing grown man shit. You know what I mean? Treat somebody the way that you want them to treat you. Respect is number one. You know what I mean? So you learn to respect, because if you don't, you will be disrespected.
Facts. Hey, doggone Black Dragon. Hey, thank you for chiming in. Black Dragon from Black Dragon Biker TV just chimed in and he said, fix it. I love this. Fix it just as publicly as you started the bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you can use that same energy, that you started this bullshit with to repair this shit, it goes back to, hey, that cat's got some integrity. I gotta respect the dude like that. I definitely gotta respect a man like that. So
well, if you remember in the military, they used to say praise in public, punish in private.
Oh yeah. Oh well, Black Dragon, he followed up. Too many folks want to start shit in public but apologize on the phone. Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. Well, I'll tell you what, y'all, we are just at an hour and 8 minutes, and we said starting out because we all had some hellified days, so we was gonna try to keep it at about an hour. But I got to tell you, this has been a great show. It's fantastic hearing from y'all. I want to take a minute to say there's a guy Bear from Goodfellas MC out of Holiday, Florida. Bear, good guy. He got in a really messed up accident on I want to say on New Year's Eve, and he's been going through it. But a lot of folks are pulling for him. So Bear, if you're watching, we wish you none but love, man, and hurry up and get better soon. We want to see you. Bear's on. He's actually the number 2. He's the VP in our COC. So we're hoping you get back up on your feet and everything sometime soon, because he's been going through it. But thus the name Bear. He's a strong motherfucker, so I think he's gonna be all right. So keep your prayers and wishes for Bear out there. Other than that, so I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But fellas, y'all got anything you want to throw out there right quick?
Yeah, I want to say this. We overcomplicate a very simple lifestyle. Ride your motorcycle, fly your colors, love your brothers unconditionally, represent your club to the best of your ability, fornicate with loose women, and just enjoy this lifestyle. It's that easy. Respect, communication, and participation are the 3 things every organization has to have. And everybody must participate in those three things. Get your head out of your asses. Be your brother's keeper. Quit this fucking bullshit. And if you can't quit, get out.
See, it don't beat you.
Yeah, right on, right on. And I know Archbishop wanted to apologize to his mother so he can avoid getting the belt. Or is it the belt or the strap? I forget which one she's
I
going to use.
said, no, hold on. No, I'm not apologizing because I said it was a saying that was told to me. That is what I said.
Rumor, though.
So
See,
no, I'm not apologizing for what I said because I am repeating something that was said to me.
See, but I'm trying to start a rumor to get your ass in trouble.
Yeah, I know what you're starting, but I ain't, man.
Hand me the paddle.
You know what? Let me
Please
tell you
hand me the
something.
paddle. It's my turn.
You know what? Let me tell you something. All them years when I was out there doing that shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell you real quick. I'll be out there, and people will call my mom and be like, "Bishop out here showing his ass. He out here fighting, blah 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 blah." And I'm telling you, I'm out there in the street battling my ass off. But I'm gonna tell you, when I heard her voice, everything just stopped. You know what I'm saying? It was like once I heard her voice and I knew she was there, it was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people laying around. It's people laying around and shit done went all the way bad.
I don't
But
know
her
what
voice
happened, Bob. They
Is
fell.
what right. You know what I mean? So she can, so she can bear witness because she knows that, you know what I mean, when I used to walk out that door, I used to bring hell with me. And I bought it to them on a regular. You know what I mean? It wasn't no every now and again thing. Motherfuckers knew that when you seen me and you seen my people, it was on. It was just a matter of time as to when it was going to happen, but it was going down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she know, you know what I mean? So, she knows about the lifestyle that I used to live and, you know what I mean? And all that. So I'm just saying, even with something like that, like now she'd be like, what? Why'd you say that? Is it, man, don't let me get started on that.
For those of y'all that don't know, doggone Archbishop's mother, she watches the show every week, and I watch what I say just so I don't want to make her mad, because then, of course, I have to blame Archbishop because I'm not getting the belt just because of something that he did that I did that I said he did. That's not the point. It's not the point who did it. It's not the point. But yo, I tell you what, for everybody that took some time out, hey, doggone Radio Check, doggone Cecil, aka Jalen Walker, the Night Stalker, brother. We love seeing you. But hey, y'all, thanks for joining us tonight. And look, jump on the online platform, the Facebook page. Throw some, we're gonna try to slide over there and say our 2 cents worth. I warned everybody we was running late tonight. So if you looked at the Facebook page, you knew that we was running a little bit late. So we're trying to stay in good communication. But other than that, man, we thank y'all. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Big BoneYard. Shaggy, Archbishop, myself, we appreciate y'all. The applause is for the folks that keep us going. So we definitely appreciate y'all. In the meantime, we're going to check this out right quick. And hey, peace out. We're going to see y'all in how many days? We're going to see y'all in, hold on, I got to do the math. Yeah, about 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Y'all be good.
Welcome to the Big BoneYard. Enter at your own risk.
Decided to pursue a career in law because it gives me an opportunity to help people. When a client chooses us to represent them, they're entrusting us with a huge responsibility. It's our goal to exceed their expectations with our personalized service and to help them to achieve the best possible recovery to compensate them for their injuries.
That's where we come in. We come in and we solve that problem for them and really set them on the right track in order to try and get back to what their life was like before the accident happened.